Smith-Marset put it after the first padded practice. The pads were popping. Welcome into US Bank Vikings Training Camp Live. I'm Tatum Everett, and I was out there just a minute ago. Yes, today was no different than yesterday when it comes to the intensity. Coming up in the show, we will hear from co-defensive coordinator Andre Patterson about the defensive line. Plus, we'll dive into that position battle between the defensive ends and the defensive tackles and see who will earn that, or who we predict will earn that starting job opposite of Danielle Hunter. But first, let's get out to those practice highlights from practice number 7 out at Twin Cities Orthopedic Center. Performance Center. A lot of new faces on the defensive line, but you know that guy, DJ Wanham. He got some good reps in today, but check out these highlights from Alexander Madison back again. Jake Browning now taking the majority of the snaps for the 4th straight day, finds Irv Smith Jr. Then the handoff to the 4th round draft pick, Kene Nwanga, who runs loose, untouched for a nice pickup. And then you know this guy, the cook in the kitchen, Dalvin Cook, a nice pickup there, bouncing off guys left and right. But this guy's had a great camp. KJ Osborne comes back to catch a short pass there from Browning, and the newest Viking, Danny Etling, finds Chad Beebe in the end zone. Meanwhile, Amir Abdullah still fighting to keep his roster spot here out on the Minnesota Vikings. But this guy, I can't say enough about what a camp KJ Osborne has, and we'll talk about him in just a few seconds. More juice, more intensity, especially from those big guys up front. We're talking the defensive line, and the guy in charge of them, Andre Patterson, spoke to the media today and talked a lot about DJ Wanham and how he's fighting for a roster spot this season, or a starting role rather this season.
With DJ Wanham, he was talking yesterday. He's watched a lot of other defensive ends, whether it's Danielle trying to pick up on that skill set, but he also talked about, Pierce, Tomlinson, learning some of the 4-eye. What can he take from some of the interior technique that you'd like to see him apply at end?
Well, it's not just him, but, all of our ends have to learn how to play somewhat like our 3 techniques and nose play, because there's times where we tighten those guys down. They're not always on the outside shoulder of a tackle or outside shoulder of a tight end. So the techniques that the D tackles use when they have to play inside a tackle, they've got to execute those same techniques in the run game. So that's the reason probably why he's talking to the big guys of, when I get caught in a certain position, how do you get out of it? So he's watching tape and he sees, Dalvin in a position where he really should be blocked, and he found a way to get out of it. So that's probably why he's asking him those questions.
How different is Sheldon's role now versus when he was here back in 18?
It's a little bit, because right now he's not starting, but he's going to play a lot. He's going to play a lot on base downs. He's going to play a lot on third downs. So when we go out here at practice, he's getting reps against the 1s too, and that's just not rolling against the 2s. So I expect him to play a lot. In my mind, I got 2 starting 3 techniques between him and Big Dalvin.
We'll get to that defensive line battle in just a moment. But first, let's welcome in the other additions to the show. Out at Land O'Lakes Field, we've got Vikings team reporter Eric Smith and Viking Entertainment Network's Gabe Henderson. Welcome in, guys. I know it's awesome to see all the players back out in pads for the 2nd straight day. There's so much fun, intensity out there for them to have. But we saw 2 new guys that were out there in pads. 1st round draft pick Christian Daresaw and 3rd round pick Wyatt Davis back out in action. Eric, you tweeted about this earlier. What did you see from those 2 today?
Yeah, Tatum, it was great to see Christian Daresaw just on the field. He was in pad today for the first time all camp. We hadn't seen him other than just watching drills and kind of being on the sideline for camp. So for the Vikings to have their 1st round pick on the field, he only did individual drills today, but that was a step forward than what he'd done for probably the last 5 or 6 days. And it was good to see him on the field, and also Wyatt Davis too, getting in full team action game.
Yeah, Wyatt Davis is a guy that I've been high on all offseason. We saw what he has done in mini camp and OTAs, rookie mini camp. Today was his first day in pads, and seeing what he did in one-on-one, seeing what he did in the team position drills today, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. He's a guy that wants to learn wants to get better. And him alongside Daresaw, those are two guys with this Minnesota Vikings team that, I don't know, maybe they'll get some real time next week, preseason week number 2, preseason week number 3. But Eric, you and I were talking. Oli Udoh is a guy I've been high on all offseason, and he has been very key to this Minnesota Vikings offense. So those 3 guys, we're going to be excited to see what those guys can bring to this team.
Yeah, Udoh stood out with some position flexibility, but with Davis, he lined up today as a second-team right guard, and he showed some tenacity. I mean, at the end of practice, him and fellow Ohio State teammate Tuff Borland kind of exchanged pleasantries, I think we could say, at the end of practice. And after practice, they dapped each other up, they gave each other a smile. So it was good to see.
Well, the defensive side of the ball, starting linebacker Anthony Barr not out there, so this gave Cam Smith a chance to run with the ones and call the defense. Gabe, what did you see from Cam Smith, a guy who has quite a journey, who's to be back on the field right now?
Yeah, he's playing freely. You can tell he's not really thinking about, the injury last year, what kept him out all of 2020. But at the same time, Cam Smith, he understands the plays. I think the mental part of the game comes easy for him, especially being in all of the meetings last year. When he actually got a chance to get out in the field this year, even today, you saw him just playing freely and being the Cam Smith who we're used to be seeing.
Yeah, and one thing that always stands out about Cam Smith is he's very smart. Coaches always say he has a high football IQ, and he needed that today because with Barr out, it was Cam Smith who was out there calling the defense in place of Barr. And at one point, at the end of practice, Eric Kendricks wasn't out there, and he's fine. He was just kind of taking a breather. But it was Cam Smith and Nick Vigil out there taking first-team reps. So a good chance for maybe some guys battling for that third linebacker spot to get some first-team reps together.
Absolutely.
Who will be the third wide receiver is a hot topic debate here at training camp. KJ Osborne, the second-year wide receiver, making a great case for himself in that position. I know Coach Zimmer said today it's all about confidence with him, and he's seen him take a giant leap. Eric, what are your thoughts on what's made KJ stand out this camp?
Well, Coach Zimmer is right, and the confidence that KJ is showing this camp is seen by everyone. And I turned to Gabe during practice today and I said, man, this guy is making a play every day.
Yeah.
He's turning heads every day, and he did it again today. He had a nice catch on third down. He had a nice leaping catch on the sideline.
Yeah.
And then there's the catch that you tweeted out, Gabe, of him making an acrobatic diving catch. And every day it's KJ Osborne, and he's making his case to be on the roster.
Yeah, and that's what I talked to Keenan McCardell about the other day. I said, your guys are making it hard for you to cut them or to give them opportunities to play on the field. And a guy that he brought up was KJ Osborne, a guy who just made a tremendous leap in year 2. And you expect that from a guy coming from year 1 to year 2, and especially coming from last year. KJ Osborne, you expect him to be a better receiver than he was last year in the punt return game, the blocking game. And I'm excited to see what he continues to bring and what he's going to bring this Minnesota Vikings team just next week against the Denver Broncos.
Well, it's time to finish the show the way we started it and talk about that defensive line. Going to be a lot of battles with a lot of new faces. Obviously, Danielle Hunter already locked in on one side of the line, but who do you guys have in line or in the battle to win the job opposite of Hunter?
So I'll just start by saying that Danielle Hunter has been a monster, and I think we have to say that first because, there was a little concern, I think, with him coming off his neck injury. Is he going to be healthy? Is he not? He's healthy. He's fine. He looks like Danielle Hunter, perhaps maybe even better with a year of rest away. But on the opposite side, it's probably DJ Wanham and Stephen Weatherly battling for that opposite starting spot. The two rookies that the Vikings have in Patrick Jones and Janarius Robinson are coming along fine, but they're also rookies, so it might take them a little bit longer to get going. I could kind of see them maybe in some rush packages, as the season goes along, and preseason games will obviously be big for them. But I think right now it's probably Weatherly and Wanham battling for that spot.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point. Weatherly and Wanham are the two guys that have the most experience, so you trust those guys a little bit more over your Janarius Robinson and Patrick Jones II. But let's not steamroll over the fact that those two guys, those two rookies, have been getting a lot better, and they have two solid veterans and DJ Wanham to learn from. So I'm excited to see how that all will come together heading into week 1.
All right, well, switching to the tackle position, here is the players are now on the board for the fans to check out. So who do you guys have as those run stuffers in the middle?
I mean, you got Michael Pierce, you got Dalvin Tomlinson, what a 620-something pounds of beef in the middle right there. I don't think you can I don't think many teams will have the opportunity to get to our second level as easy as they did last year. We have a guy in those two that can just, stuff the run, stuff the pass, even get pass rush. Nothing that you can do as an offensive coordinator can combat that.
No, and in terms of pass rush, that's kind of where Sheldon Richardson is going to come in. You heard Andre Patterson talk about him earlier. He might not start, and that's okay with Pierce and Tomlinson, but Sheldon is going to play a lot of snaps, especially maybe third down, that nickel 3 technique pass rushing role, and he's going to be needed because the Vikings didn't have a lot of interior rush last year. So anything that Sheldon can bring, and also Armon Watts, I think it had looked pretty good this camp too.
You think Sheldon will wear number 9?
He looked good in it. He looked good.
I don't know.
I still can't get over that. I just can't. I don't know. It just looks funny to me. Well, thank you guys so much. We look forward to more great work and analysis on Vikings.com from Vikings team reporter Eric Smith and Viking Entertainment Network's Gabe Henderson. We'll let them get out of the heat. But before we go, there are several more chances for fans to see the players, to watch the joint practice, and of course watch our content here on Vikings Entertainment Network. So here we go, starting with the team scrimmage at US Bank Stadium. Tickets still on sale at Vikings.com for that one. And trust me, you are not going to want to miss it. First time we get to see fans back at US Bank, it's going to be electric. We'll also have another training camp live show that night at 5, as you can see, followed up by one on Monday. And then the Broncos roll into town Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll have 2 more editions of Training Camp Live on there as well. Well, thank you so much for watching US Bank Vikings Training Camp Live. Of course, you can always catch our content on Vikings.com. For now, though, until next time, we'll see you on Saturday at the US Bank Scrimmage. Thanks for tuning in, and Skol Vikes.